7/18. Notice is hereby given pursuant to the Texas Open Meetings Act that the City Council of Nassau Bay, Texas will conduct a regular meeting on Monday, February 9th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Location City Hall, Council Chambers, 1800 Space Park Drive, Suite 200, Nassau Bay, Texas. The meeting has been called to order. There is a quorum, and we just Lucy just actually walked in. So there are 5 physically present. Chase Waterwall is the only one not present, and Councilwoman Caitlin Yule is participating via digital tie-in to Zoom, or actually by phone. Just let me move onward to the invocation and pledge of allegiance. I'm going to dispense with invocation, and we'll move to a very special treat with the Boy Scouts Troop 1966. We're going to present the colors as well as lead us in the pledge of allegiance. Gentlemen. Do parents want a picture? I see. Come on up. Come on up. Bring the kids back, though. They may take off. They're the star of the show. Please. Any other parents? You guys want to begin? And could you just introduce yourself? Guys, make your way without saying something. All I know is I want to thank you guys. Thank you very much. Before I start, well, here, the next one here is appointments, proclamations, presentations, and award the Clear Creek Environmental Foundation. You want to come up? Mark, did you want to come up? Here, let me have the money. We have 2 things for you. One's a fun one. One's money. Oh. Okay. So you're moving to the side. So Clear Creek Environmental Foundation, we are donating $2,000 to the I want these guys to tell you, what I'm going to tell you is they do things which provide for the security of our barge full of trash that gets picked up, as well as it's lemongrass that all put around the fence that you guys probably were 100%, I would say. So from that standpoint, a lot of the health of our waterway is because of this foundation. So,
Thank you very much, Mayor.
you got something to give people a little bit of the background?
Absolutely. Clear Creek Environmental Foundation was formed in 2000, and so we're in our 26th year. And I mean, we got Clear Creek and Clear Lake, and it's a group effort. We coordinate with Mark and the other citizens. 27. With 27. And so it's been a tough endeavor, but the people work so hard and it's a total volunteer effort. We have 4 to 5 work boats, and you can get volunteers to come in on Saturday and Sunday mornings, weather permitting. Now, the previous 2 weekends before this last weekend, that was not good consumption. It was way too cold. But last weekend, we made a great hit in it, and of course, our weekend at the beginning of January got off to a great start. And so we're looking forward, if anybody wants to get dirty and talk trash, 9 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday morning, in weather permitting, at the 270 boat ramp. That's the Bay boat ramp. We all meet up then. And we work for about half a day to get a lot of people done. And we normally get between 8 and 11 tons of debris out of Clear Creek. And this is something that impacts not only our environment, but it impacts boaters. There's a lot of boaters in this area. And some of the things that we picked up could absolutely wipe a boat out, such as 40-foot long logs, towable, basically floating in Clear Creek. And so
Plastic trash bags.
oh yes, absolutely could wipe out an inch from deep. And so there's so many things, there's so much trash, and we love the people quit throwing trash in our water. But we're seeing more and more wildlife. We see bald eagles, osprey, of course, you bring blue herons, and all the other water.
It's all about Facebook posts,
Yes, that river otters are making a comeback. We saw 7 of them run across the parking lot at Lakewood Yacht Club from one side of the club to another. And then did see for the first time got a picture of it. Haven't seen one in 60 years on Clear Creek, and that was a beaver. And beaver, yeah, beaver, a beaver.
Anyway, we got a lot to go on, but I really appreciate those guys.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Council. We really
And Jim, I know you're involved too, bring out your brother.
thank you.
Quick question, Chief, can I get the gate open Friday? I gotta get out there and catch the boys.
Yeah, can you shoot me a text or an email tomorrow? We'll take care of it. Thanks.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mark. Okay. Next on the agenda is citizens' comment and public hearing. This is a statement of no more than 3 minutes may be made on items of general relevance. There will be no yielding of time with another person, and state law prohibits the mayor and members of the council from commenting on any statement or engaging in dialogue without the appropriate agenda item being posted according to the Texas meeting law. Comments should be directed to the entire council, not individual members. Engaging in verbal attacks or comments intended to insult, abuse, malign, or slander any individual shall be cause for termination of time privileges and removal from council chambers. So council members, the same respect, courtesy, effectively show you, that's all we need. We have it ready. So, yeah, that citizens' comments and public hearing is 7:29. Anybody who wants to come speak? Remember name, rank, and serial number, Joe.
Okay, troops are a citizen in Nassau Bay since 1986. So I'm just going to talk about, appreciate the support of the paddling event we had a couple, November 1st. It was a great turnout, and I think I'll show a video next week. But one of the things that I discovered doing paddling events, like Lloyd had mentioned, I've been involved in the boating community for a long time. In fact, Lloyd and I met each other during the hydroplane race back in the 80s. But when I started doing these paddle events, I didn't realize all the dangers there were in Clear Creek. And then since then I started doing AI and started doing some research, and a boat ended up in David Braun Park, 28-foot boat, and then more research showed me that a similar thing happened back in League City when somebody got killed in a boating accident the same way, ended up in Clear Creek Nature Center. So we have a very dangerous area coming through there, and so a lot of us as citizens came up and gave testimonies about how dangerous it is, especially after seeing that 28-foot boat in the park. I ended up seeing that boat a few weeks later at the fiberglass shop, and he had a lot of damage done to that boat. So thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any other citizens or special guests?
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today with all of you. My name is Martin Garcia Leon, and I'm the CEO of the Bay Area Symphony Orchestra. It's the first fully professional symphony orchestra in the area, and we are glad to say that we are launching our first concert series in the year 2027. We are a part of non-profit organizations, 501c3, and I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce myself and the institution to all the community and give you a little bit of my background. I came from Argentina 3 years ago, and I have an extensive background as orchestral conductor and also in music business. And by the time I leave Argentina, I left behind an orchestra that I helped to build. And we create around 800 job positions, in which around 85 or 100 of them are with a tenure track. And that's as an ongoing project back in my hometown. Now, we did all that with just a few little resources that we have at the beginning. And I saw all the resources and opportunity that we have here in the Bay Area after 2 years of market research that I've been doing here. So under my experience, I can assure you that we can create something extraordinary here for all of you, for the community, that doesn't only means job for musicians, but also for the people that are behind the performance. Just to mention a few, we have like a legal department, marketing department, logistics, and so on. So I'm very glad and happy to say that we are here. We are here for you. This is our vision, that I hope it will be your vision. I want you to be owners of this vision, because it's all for you. It's opportunities and enjoyment for you. So I'll be here around in case you want to chat with me. It's a pleasure to be here. We are physically located in all the Bay Area, but we are mainly aiming to perform in the UH Clear Lake venue. So we're going to start there, and we'll see furthermore. Yeah. Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Any other public comment? Going once? Going twice? That's 3 times. It's 7:33, and the citizens' comment section is now closed. Moving on to council member comments.
All right, since I was running late, I didn't get to get my scouts from 1966 here, but I do see a couple of our 1965 troop members here, so if you guys want to wave, Audrey and Catherine. So they're also from the troop at St. Thomas. I'm happy to see you guys here. That's all I got.
Right.
Yes, since we're starting late, I'll keep it short. Just been enjoying the weather the last weekend. I hope we're done with our freezes. Many folks know I'm retired, so I really do enjoy walking that peninsula and just being in such a cool neighborhood. We can do things like that and just have little spaces like that.
No question.
And so, yeah, it's awesome. We've got people here that just care about that and want to keep it clean. So I felt really good about that when I heard that. So that's it.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Sarah?
I apologize for being late. I was at the mother-son event at Chicken and Pickle with my 7-year-old, so it went a little long. You might want to get with Mike Stone. They have a very pretty organ and very historic organ going in at St. Thomas, and it would probably gel with the orchestra very well, so.
Maybe be able to be playing.
Yes, it's getting installed. It's a big project, but Mike Stone over at St. Thomas would be a great connection for you to make.
Great, yes.
Yes, so go over there. That's the Episcopal Church here in Nassau Bay. Also, we adopted a dog from the Nassau Bay shelter. I might look a little tired because he's a puppy. So Troy's been checking in on us, and I can tell you that, I mean, that was an absolute seamless, he has that place running just so beautifully, and the dogs are all, I mean, this dog, you know, dogs sometimes are skeptical of males. This dog loves men because his first exposure was probably Troy. And every time Troy walks by, I mean, this dog darts towards him because he's always walking the shelter dogs, you know, by. So anyways, just wonderful dealing with him, and it reminded me of how lucky we are to have him. And that's it.
No comments from me. Happy Valentine's Day.
There you go. I have two. Which is, one, I just want to give the whole city staff, you know, the folks in the police, fire department, public works, just during the freeze and all the things that went on. I really appreciate all the work that was done. And I think it wasn't as bad as we thought it was, but it was still mighty cold, and I appreciate people being out like that. The other is I got a letter, I know it came to Paul, came to me, and it's to all of council from Ayrshire Nassau Bay LLC, and for those who that doesn't ring familiar, that's the folks who are developing Margaritaville. And they sent us a letter giving an update as to the projections from what they've had for what the investment that we've made with them will mean. So if you will, I'm going to read this, and then I think, Paul, it's in your mailbox if you can distribute to everybody else. It says, Dear Mayor and members of City Council, please see attached document outlining the City of Nassau Bay's estimated return on its investment in the Compass by Margaritaville, Nassau Bay project as established by the Master Development Agreement. As you can see, based on the latest pro forma financial projections, the City of Nassau Bay would realize a potential return of approximately $10.7 million, including a payback of its original $5 million initial investment and to approximately $5.7 million incremental return on its investment. For city financial planning purposes, a $900,000 partial paydown of your initial $500 million capital investment is anticipated upon the sale of the condominiums in Q2 of 2027. For those who don't know, we have 36 condos that are going to go at the top 4 floors of the Margaritaville, with complete repayment of the remaining $4.1 million plus the incremental return of $5.7 million upon the sale or refinancing of the hotel and resort anticipated by the end of Q4 2030. So we thank you for your cornerstone investment in this project and look forward to continuing to work with you to make Compass by Margaritaville, Nassau Bay, its official name, a successful economic anchor for the city and its residents for years to come. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me directly, which is Cam Miramati, the Chief Executive Officer for Ayrshire Nassau Bay LLC. Jaime, what's our general fund annual revenues? Approximately? $7 million, right? Yeah. So this is about a year and a half of funds. This was for the citizens These are hotel motel tax funds that are going to come back, a little over doubling our money into general funds for the city's budget. Projected in 2 payments, one in second quarter 2027 and the other by around Q4 of 2030. Okay? I think that's something that this council should be proud of.
For sure.
Okay? Other than that, I will cede and move on to, in the essence of time, and have reports from committees. Paul, city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Speaking on the freeze, like the mayor said, appreciate Public Works, PD, everyone working them 12-hour shifts and staying over. And we had water breaks. And we had water breaks, so a special thanks for the guys out there working in freezing conditions, working on those. And then also, you've noticed the 2 dead palm trees on Nassau Road 1. We've got those ordered, so hopefully they'll get installed here pretty soon.
And how much expense to the city?
0.
Thank you.
And then I think some palm tree trimming, which is also 0. So we got a really good deal on that. And then this Saturday, Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And Monday, City Hall is closed for President's Day. That's all I have, Mayor.
That works. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor and Council, citizens. The report for January 2026, our crime numbers, 346 calls for service, 33 reports, 135 traffic stops, 85 citations, and 77 warnings. 3 arrests for the month, and those were all misdemeanors. Total of 4,042 patrol miles. 3 minutes and 23 seconds was our average response time. And on February the 2nd, officers completed their annual firearms training and qualifications over at College of Mainland. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt?
A very brief report. So for the month of January, the volunteer fire department ran 35 calls, and we stand at 38 members. As far as activities that are happening, this past weekend, or I should back up, if you haven't been aware, the city had contracted a company to come down to the leeward site where the boathouse is and fix the bulkhead. It was all wonky, and they did a great job fixing it, but of course, as you imagine, if they came and had to install piers and put steel rods in the ground to create tiebacks to pull that bulkhead back in, it tore up the entire site. So they still have to go in and repair the wall where we have the boathouse and the little mobile home dock or park down there. But this weekend, our fire department crew got out there and reconnected all the utilities. We had to go in and disconnect the water, the electricity, so they could do their work, and we reconnected all that. So at least we have an operational, we always had an operational boathouse, but at least it's operational the way we intended it. And then once they repair the dock and the concrete, the concrete and the wall, we'll be able to put the actual house back down there, and it'll be back to the way it was. So a lot of good work down there, and thanks to the city for the contractors they brought in. They did a great job. And then here at the end of the month, the Volunteer Fire Department, we have our annual awards banquet. It's a time of year where we just kind of go in-house and recognize all the folks who volunteer countless hours and given their time, and we do things like Firefighter of the Year, Rookie of the Year awards. So I'll report on who wins those next month. That's all I have.
Thank you. Tony, code enforcement?
So for last month, we had 12 active cases for code enforcement, ranging from high grass to dilapidated fences to tree limbs, debris, dumpster and trash issues and so forth. The Fire Marshal's Office conducted 14 fire inspections. We did 6 plan reviews, and currently we're in the middle of 24 hours of continuing education. That continuing education is for code enforcement. Gino, who also works in the office, is in the class with me, and it's for the next 2 days. We went today, and we'll be there Tuesday and Wednesday. I participated in the annual firearms qualifications with the PD. Part of that was also we had a class on the new 9mm pistols that were issued out to all the law enforcement officers and stuff. I had a biannual audit from the Texas Police Commission for my office, and everything passed real good there, so we're pleased with that. And I'm currently in the process of reviewing all the 2025 fire reports before they're submitted to the state. That's it.
Any questions? Thank you, Tony.
EMS?
Take that, Mayor. Sean had to work tonight. Total calls and patients, 102. Mutual aid to Webster, 6. Mutual aid to Seabrook, 8. Incoming mutual aid from Webster, 7. From Seabrook, 6. And the response time in Nassau Bay for last month was 4 minutes and 55 seconds. That's all I have, Mayor.
Gillis? Public Works?
Good evening. For our capital improvement projects, the water line project continues. To date, 6,600 feet of line have been installed. The street paving project continues. To date, 8 sections have been completed. Water department, we had 5 water leaks and 1 leaking fire hydrant repaired this month. 2-meter tests were conducted and both were reading accurately. The wastewater department, 600 feet of sewer line was jetted along Cape Bahamas to improve flow and capacity. And the jet trailer was turned into Texas Underground Service for preventative maintenance. For Parks Department, we had 2 parking lot lights were replaced at David Brown Park. New handrails were installed on the kayak launch at the boardwalk. The Street and Drainage Department has been working with Ricotta installing the poles for the cameras, and a new battery backup was installed at the Stormwater Lift Station G on Harbor Drive. Facilities maintenance, the yearly fire panel and smoke detector testing was done at City Hall, and a new motor was installed for the AC unit.
Only thing I had was, is there any movement on the benches for the parks?
No, not yet.
Timing, you anticipate?
We had park supervisor resign recently, so it's kind of throwing our schedule out of
Okay.
whack. So, but I'll get a
Thank you.
timeline.
Thank you.
I was going to ask a quick question. I know we approved the Verkada cameras and they're all being installed. I was wondering, I came to the realization that we don't have a camera at the Peninsula, that there used to be one, that I kind of dug into this with Paul and Troy. Troy used to have one, I guess, at the Peninsula that no longer, it is not there anymore.
Yeah.
So were we interested in maybe putting one over there? Or you don't know?
I think the best thing to do would be to put a camera out there. I mean, I don't know if we can debate this or come, but I mean, I think that's a great idea. I even think if you really look at it, if you really wanted to minimize the amount of lovers lanes that occurs at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning with a bunch of high volume boats or high loud radios or stereos, having something that has a camera near to be able to look out on the peninsula
Yeah, I think
would be extremely helpful.
No, I think that
For
the
many
camera,
reasons.
right, and the camera that used to be there was right there at the entrance, and it faced like I think it was more so that you guys could monitor if
In and
there was
out.
anybody, yeah, exactly, or
Correct.
people like taking their dogs out there, or, driving their motorcycles, things that were against the rules. So I was just curious, I don't know, Dick, if we need to put this in the agenda, but maybe this can be just, the addition of this camera could be considered. And I don't know if it's at the entrance or something like that.
Because I would like to, I mean, I think everybody would like to know whether or not people are doing something with that gate, or if
Right.
if things there, who's
I mean,
on
it is locked, right, in theory,
we've-
but,
We've had the Louisiana swamp boat out there too.
Yes.
So if we had something that could be picked up, stuff like that, it
Yes.
would be, I think, beneficial.
Okay, so maybe just something to consider amongst yourselves, Paul and Elias, and then, I don't know if it's something we need to add to the agenda, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. And then, Special Events Committee? I do not see, oh, there he is.
I'm here, yeah, I snuck in.
So let the record reflect that Chase Waterwall has joined, and it's 7:45 approximately.
That being said, I have no update. They haven't given me any information, but if I do get some information, I will pass it along.
Okay. Thank you, and welcome. And then next is Parks and Recreation. Nancy?
I have one quick comment, and that's thank you to Public Works. When the fire hydrant blew up or whatever it did, they fixed it really fast because I drove by. I got one side of my truck washed. It was fixed so fast, I have a dirty side. Just saying. Don't doubt that they don't work fast. Okay, we've had a busy month. First, I want to say I appreciate Paul's capital improvement plan. I think that's great. Lets everybody know where we're moving, and we better keep moving. But but we are. I have participated in Keep Texas Beautiful. We have, I think it's like a 20-page paperwork I need to go work on probably tonight, but it's an affiliation paper. So they have all kinds of projects and webinars that I watch at all kinds of hours, but they're good. Okay, the next thing, on the 28th with Mark Denman, we have the Peninsula Cleanup. That's going to go out on Facebook and the Nassau Bay app. So we'll have a table there just like always, and have gloves and the picker-upper things and that kind of stuff. So we're going to send that out and hope we have wonderful weather and great participation. The benches are in progress, I believe. The tennis courts, we're working on a few changes and tweaks with the covers for the benches, but we should have that done before too much longer. The adult exercise, interesting. I told you about Craftsman and their lack of interest, kind of similar with Game Time, working with All Play right now. They've got some great equipment, so we're finalizing some of that. The Apollo Dog Park, that playground equipment for the dogs is in progress, and hopefully that'll be out in time for all this beautiful weather. The electrical boxes. This was a very lively meeting we had a few weeks ago. We have updated renderings coming the 18th. I'll send it out to you guys, but we took what they offered, and our thought is right now they have some pictures, and so four-sided box, if you will, two or bigger. The side, when the residents are leaving Nassau Bay, they'll have some pictures of the citizens in Nassau Bay that have contributed their jobs, like mission control and different parts, so the citizens can relate to that side of the box. The side of the box facing Nassau Road 1 will have astronauts and the actual events from different periods of history for the space. That's kind of what we're thinking now, because it shouldn't just be for tourists, it should be for everybody. And we have this great history within the city of all these individuals who have been involved and continue to be so. So this will give both sides of it. And that's what we asked and looked at pictures, and they're supposed to come back with new renderings. So we're excited. The astronaut project, we have a CAD. We have a facility that can build the molds. Right now, they're doing the World Cup. So when they finish up with that, get closer and out of the frantic phase that they're doing with the World Cup, then we're going to go make a tour and go out and see about getting that put together more. So it's happening. Nobody's sleeping here. The end caps, trying to get landscape designs and a little more down into the median, so very excited about that. I think everybody up here that likes all the plants you mentioned, I'm going to try to be sure they're incorporated. And it'll be a year-round bed, so that different things are blooming at different times. And yes, some things like the Bird of Paradise or the Three Sisters may die back, but then you'll have other things blooming. So it should be pretty year-round. Then, what else? Yoga, we're going to have yoga in the park. We have March scheduled, I believe she told me the 21st. We also have another person who we're going to talk to, and maybe have somebody in April and May. So we're keeping people limber and ready to use the parks. Any questions? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Maritime Safety Committee. Brian? Welcome back.
Dry land feels good. All righty. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get the PowerPoint up on the screens tonight. However, council does have packets, and I'll just kind of read through it on my end here. I'm going to kind of go over a little bit of information about the committee, what we've done in the last year, more so for the audience, and then we'll also go into the survey, the results, and then kind of what we're taking from that and how we're going to kind of go forward. The committee history, we were created to address boating concerns in the Cove and the waters surrounding Nassau Bay. Members were selected by council in the fall of 2024, and our first meeting was held in January of '25. We meet semi-quarterly, so that's every 6 weeks, and all of our meetings are broadcast live on YouTube, and then available for rewatch within a couple hours afterwards. Committee membership, myself as the chair, vice chair is Audrey Hervey, secretary Jason Small, and then members of Jim Stoa and Jeff Horton. City staff that are attached to us, Paul Lopez, Chief Cromie, Chief George, and Elias Yan. Committee purpose, to review the existing city ordinances and make recommendations to improve the usability and safety in our waters. We field citizen concerns regarding safety and usability. We disseminate information to the public and promote boater safety within the city waters. Our area of responsibility is the city waters, which is, wish we had a decent map over here, but basically the eastern half of Cow Bayou, Clear Creek, all the way up through into Clear Lake and up towards just east of the Hilton where that little private dock is where the NASA...
Where the Blue Origin moon lander...
Yeah, just came in.
Just came in.
Just came in
For
last
those who
week.
would be interested.
Yes. And of course, the Cove, or, the formerly named Party Cove, now just probably Nassau Bay Cove. So authorities. The city annexed the waterways over 25 years ago. Peninsula Channel, Nassau Bay Cove, Cow Bayou, north of the treatment plant are zoned residential and are under city control. Clear Creek is owned by the state, and you have to go through Texas Government Land Office. Pilings or signs in the water and adjacent bank line need to be approved by TGLO. Navigation verbiage on signs needs to be approved by the U.S. Coast Guard Waterways Department. No wake zones outside of residential areas, so anything along Clear Creek must be approved by TGLO and U.S. Coast Guard. In terms of enforcement, Nassau Bay PD really can only enforce on our side of the creek.
That's right.
So 2025, our accomplishments. The first thing we did was we set out and we took a look at all the aids to navigation. A full assessment was made, and new buoys, beacons, signs were installed in Swan Lagoon, Clear Creek, Cow Bayou, the Peninsula Channel, and the Cove. Aids are currently being maintained as necessary by Public Works. No-wake buoys were installed in the Cove to be 100 yards from residential properties, which helps provide a visual aid for those looking to raft up. Anytime more than 2 or more boats want to tie together an anchor, they must do so outside of 100 yards from any residential property. So providing a visual aid with the no-wake buoys helps keep them in that zone. We discussed no-wake concerns at the bend by David Braun Park by the existing kayak launch. At that time, we voted 4-1 to only educate and not seek additional no-wake restrictions. We improved the safety of the kayak launch on Upper Bay Drive. Elias and his team have put in the handrails, and they are working on a non-skid for that right side as you're going down towards the ladder. We tried to put tape down. It didn't survive the first storm. And I think they're looking into a non-skid paint to go in there afterwards. And then we came out with a survey.
Can I just make one comment?
Yes, sir.
Before you? The no-wake zone also has a clause that says you're allowed to water ski between 7 o'clock in the morning till 12 noon.
Yes.
Which means as long as you're out there doing a recreational activity where you're pulling somebody, and it goes into all the different things you can pull, but a lot of people have thought that water skiing was eliminated from this, and that's just not the case. It's just restricted when there isn't a whole bunch of boats out, so you can water ski between 7 a.m. and 12 noon, or correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that is correct. It's daily from 7 to 12.
Yep, okay. Thank you, Brian.
So we put out a survey. It was created to find out the wants, needs, concerns, and the understanding and awareness of residents and those who use the waters. It was made available to residents and non-residents alike. We opened the survey for 6 weeks from 11/1 until 12/15 of 2025. We received 88 responses. 85 residents, and 3 non-residents. In terms of experience and what types of vessels are operated, 68% of those who responded had 10-plus years of boating experience. So a very experienced group of people provided input to this survey. 61% had taken a boater safety course. Again, 68% operate power-driven vessels, 11% utilize sail, 17% were kayak and paddle boats, 4% used jet skis. Of those who responded, 56% use the waterways at least once a month. So it tells you they're frequently out there. So that's pretty good for getting a sense of what we're looking at with the responses here. Now, awareness. 81% were not familiar, were slightly familiar, or were moderately familiar with our committee's purpose. And that's kind of why I'm going over gave a little bit of a history, and that will also tie into what we're going to do going forward. Almost 1/3 were not aware of the city's noise ordinances. 1/3 were slightly, and 1/3 were moderately aware. 35% noticed decreases in noise levels. 58% had said they'd noticed no change compared to 2024. In terms of safety, 23% felt neutral about being safe, 44% felt safe, 20% felt very safe, 12% felt unsafe, and 1 user felt very unsafe. With that said, there were a lot of unsafe behaviors that had been observed by most of the respondents. 33% said they sometimes saw, 13% said often, 9% said very frequently, 45% said never or rarely. So what type of safety concerns did they have? Speeding and weight concerns around swimmers, kayaks, and marinas, witnessing people boating under the influence, reckless operations near docks, and submerged hazards such as old pilings and debris that can wash up near the bank line, especially during low water, that becomes visible. One of the big kicks in the Clear Lake region this last year has really been about abandoned boats. Abandoned sailboats has been kind of the major thing. And the city does have ordinances pertaining to abandoned vessels. 51% were not aware that we had an abandoned vessel ordinance. 13% were slightly aware, 16% moderately, and 15% were just generally aware. Only 5% were very aware. 2/3 of respondents are aware, however, that you are to call Nassau Bay PD if you see vessels being abandoned or that are abandoned here in Nassau Bay waters. When it comes to education and how people gather information, 72% believe it's important or extremely important for our committee to provide education and information on safe boating practices. So that's going to be a charge that we're going to take forward from this survey. Safety information is gathered predominantly from websites and the U.S. Coast Guard Marine Safety Information broadcasts in terms of updates on the Clear Lake, Cow Bayou, Clear Creek areas. When it comes to satisfaction in our waterways, 35% feel that Nassau Bay offers sufficient recreational options, 19% each for slightly and quite a bit. So we work one standard deviation out from center. And again, the similar percentage of 14 and 13 for not at all and very much. 44% of people are satisfied with the activities they currently engage in. 31% are satisfied, 12% are very satisfied, and 12% are dissatisfied or very satisfied or very dissatisfied. So we took all this information and we did a SWOT, or a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis. So what are the strengths that we've noticed? Safety. Users generally feel safe when enjoying our waters. That's a huge, huge plus that attracts people to using our waterways. We have very firm city ordinances, and we have very strong boating experience from the respondents. Weaknesses. Knowledge of noise and abandoned vessel ordinances, and the knowledge of the Maritime Safety Committee and its purpose. That gives us some opportunities. The main one being boater education. U.S. Coast Guard boater safety course, committee workshop prior to start of traditional boating season, updating social media public service announcements, and outreach to local marinas and other interest groups, such as the recently formed Dead Boat Society that's done a lot with the abandoned vessels out there in the Clear Lake area. And what kind of threats do we face? So, increased instances of abandoned vessels in Clear Lake, neighboring city ordinances that could result in an increase in vessels being abandoned. Our neighbors to the south recently had an issue ongoing with that. New small boat kayak launch being built in League City off of 270, which has the potential for increased kayak and paddle boat traffic if they decide to head outbound on Clear Creek. And of course, the new Margaritaville will eventually include a marina and a potential increase in traffic in our waterways. So those are things that we're going to have to keep an eye out for. So what are we going to do? We're going to work on a proper mission statement for the committee to identify who we are and what we do and communicate that to the public. Boater safety courses. We're going to look into the cost availability to see how the city can help coordinate a U.S. Coast Guard boater safety course, and maybe we can offer it to new and young boaters. Public service announcements and videos. We will look into updating and producing new content to be put out there on the city's social media. Something as simple as how to wear a life jacket, how to properly check and start up your boat, make sure that you run your blower for X amount of time before starting to reduce explosion risk. And of course, a workshop, which would host a forum or a workshop on a Saturday towards the end of April, early May, prior to start of boating season to inform the public of the updated city ordinances, navigation safety concerns, and to receive public feedback. Our next meeting will be this Wednesday at 4 o'clock on the 11th in council chambers. And with that, I entertain questions.
Any questions for Brian? I just have a comment. Since you guys have gotten involved, the safe activity has increased tremendously. You guys have done a great job.
Thank you.
In coordinating with the chief and things like that. It's a noticeable difference of people being safer. We still have some challenges, but it's noticeably different.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I just appreciate your passion. That was very thorough.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
No,
you.
no better person to have put on this committee, quite frankly.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm wondering about the boater safety and what we can do to spread that so more people have access to it.
Yeah, so one of the things that we're going to be, this Wednesday, as we get reports back from the little subcommittees and people who have been tasked to find out information, we're going to find out cost availability and then see about possibly coming to you guys to
It's a great idea.
ask for some money to help either subsidize or cover it in
It's a great
full.
idea. Okay. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the consent agendas. Agenda item 8. All matters listed under this item are considered routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these matters. If discussion is desired by any council member on any item, then that item will be removed from the agenda and will be considered separately. We have 3 items that are going to be on the consent agenda. It's consideration and possible action, approval of the minutes of the City of Nassau Bay City Council regular meeting held on January 12th, 2026. B, consideration and possible action, approval of the minutes of the City of Nassau Bay City Council special meeting held on August 21st, 2025. And C, consideration and possible action, approval of the Economic Development Corporation's annual report for fiscal year 2024. Does anybody want any of these pulled out of the consent agenda?
B, don't we need to remove that because it's already been approved as of September 15th? Yes, yes.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would move to approve the consent agenda as is with the removal of item B.
Item B.
As it was approved September 15th of last year.
That works. Any other comments, any other modifications? Then I need a motion. You just moved. Do I have a second? Second by Ashley. Any other questions or comments? I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor? Agree. Thank you, Haley. Passes 7-0. Old business, which is consideration and possible action, second and final reading of the ordinance number 2026-006, 0112-2, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Nassau Bay regulating the placement of privately owned exterior cameras, monitoring and recording devices, establishing setback requirements for public rights-of-way and city easements, providing for compliance, enforcement, and severability, and providing an effective date. Any, I don't know if you wanted to add anything on this, Paul?
No, sir. I think it's clear.
Yep. Any, I think this is pretty clear. Anybody make a move, or?
I did have a question. There was a hook in there for the ones that are existing and letting them continue their use. Where is that? Lawfully installed prior to the effective date that do not comply with the setback requirement, section 6. So what's?
But those would be lawfully?
Yeah.
Dick?
What's the line there on what that
Could you
means?
opine there?
Do you remember, Chris?
I think it's just saying that it's, they're not what they use, they can't expand.
So let's just, I know her question is, the term pre-existing legally, does that mean any camera that's up right now that is in the city easement would be considered pre-existing?
Prior to the passage of the ordinance.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
that doesn't work.
Non-conforming devices shall lose their non-conforming status upon relocation, replacement, or substantial modification. So that allows anything that's currently there to be, that's how I'm reading it.
As long as you don't expand it.
So this whole thing was done, and Haley, go ahead, I heard you, I'll let you have the floor.
I'm sorry, I'm just saying the three established are already existing that are legally appropriate. In my mind, that means like the flock cameras, the various monitoring cameras that we have, but I do agree with Lucy that it probably needs to be clarified because I think people will interpret that a little bit wrong.
I'll be the blunt one. There is a camera that has caused concern in the city that was put in the public easement at the corner of Port Royal and Upper Bay Road. It is currently up. I guess it was removed by Centerpoint.
Yes, sir.
And then it reestablished, saying that they're not on their pole, even though it kind of is.
Right.
Will that be considered a pre-existing camera? Because that's what this is.
Yeah, so, and it says if they do not encroach in the public right-of-way, do not interfere with public infrastructure, do not create a hazard, but the encroach into a public right-of-way, does that exclude that camera then?
Does it? I mean,
Okay.
probably, or does it?
I think it would.
It would.
So that camera would have to be removed. But then do we have an example of a camera that was lawfully installed that doesn't meet this ordinance, or is it just in case we're missing something?
Can we just phrase it in a way that allows the city to dictate what camera is acceptable in those types of scenarios?
Well, but that would then reset that means this wouldn't go, we'd have to go for another second reading, right?
Not if you just delete that section, that language. Take the additional language out and pass it that way without, you won't have to go back to first reading.
So I want people to look at section 6 though and see.
Are we saying, does this section, the way it's currently written, it would exclude that camera, right? One, it wasn't lawfully installed, right? Or was it?
What is lawfully installed?
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying, that's what I'm asking. Was it?
I don't believe there was an ordinance restricting it, so I don't know how it could be anything other than.
Okay, so it's lawfully.
I'm taking that
The
position.
next thing would be, is it in the right-of-way?
That's what my question is.
It
What is the right
There's
of way?
no it's in the easement. It's in the easement.
Okay, so if it's in the easement, then it wouldn't fall under this. It would have to be removed.
Because it more than
It
encroaches.
violates that, do not encroach into a public right-of-way or city easement. So that would remove that, so I don't think we would need to change anything. If it's in that easement, it needs to be removed.
Yeah, I mean.
Post this.
The debate going into this language was, if you're on your own private property and you want to do anything you want, you are legally allowed to do anything you want. But if it's in a easement or public right-of-way or setback, then this would have the teeth to say you.
So that said camera would fall within the city easement and would not be allowed per this ordinance.
So then is there a camera that's allowed per this ordinance?
One's attached to your home.
Yeah,
So
But that
can't
would
they
be-
just
yeah,
move it back
That
2
just
or
would be
3
outside.
feet?
Yeah.
So to say it differently, is there any legally existing camera that's in the easements, other than what's been installed by the city, that anybody's aware of?
Probably not. Not that I'm aware of.
So that means it would be,
Only unless you're intentionally violating section 5, which is recording the interior of a neighboring residence, which you'd want that.
Section
Or
Yeah,
is it
it's
really asking that, or is it asking more so
you see it?
that it doesn't comply with the setback requirements? Do we have any cameras that would not comply with the setback requirements? That do not fall within the right-of-way, the infrastructure, or the public safety?
I don't think we do. I don't think we do.
So if that's the case, then yeah, this would be moot, it would be pointless.
Okay.
I mean, you could put something about, there could be an exemption for city.
It's already in there.
Yeah, so
This
then
was-
if
this
we
was
have
added,
that, then
right?
we're okay. mean,
I don't know if it was added, but I was just reading through it all. But there is an exemption for anything the city owns.
But
Yeah, then
I
we're
would say,
fine.
are we certain that there's no camera that falls within this? Because I'd hate to remove it and then there be one. Is
You're
there any
talking
way
about
we
a
can-
personal
what would
camera
be the
belonging to
damage
a
of
person?
just removing it? Because that would make it clear. It would be, basically take away the grandfather clause.
But that's what I'm saying. Do we know, are there any that would meet that grandfather clause?
Not that I'm aware
So
of.
we're not aware of.
Other
Are we
than the
certain?
one I mentioned, but even that says it. Yeah,
Just to take it out.
I'd just take it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
And that
section
could- that
5,
could pass.
I don't want to remove it and then there be one, and then someone's like, hey. I'm not
No,
ready.
just say, I like what you're thinking, I like that you've brought this up. I think that was contrary to the intent that was here, and I would like a motion that would exclude or take that out as long as we can continue this as the second reading and put it into law.
As long as you just take it out and don't modify it, you can do it that way.
Okay, well then I would move to approve ordinance number 2026-0112-2, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Nassau Bay, Texas, regulating the placement of privately owned exterior cameras, monitoring and recording devices, establishing setback requirements from public rights-of-way and city easements, providing for compliance, enforcement, and severability, and providing an effective date with the removal of Section 6.
I'll second.
And that's seconded. Any other comments? Any other discussion items? Then I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor?
Agreed.
It passes 7-0. That's a good move, everybody. Okay, moving on to new business. This is consideration and possible action, a resolution number 2026-0209-1, a resolution of the City of Nassau Bay, Texas, ordering a general election to be held on the second day of May 2026, establishing the procedure and providing for other related matters related thereto. Maria, did you want to say anything here?
Sure. Yes, Mayor and Council, this resolution is for the approval to order a general election for the purposes of electing a mayor and 3 council member positions, and that is council position
2, 4, and 6.
2, 4, and 6, which are all eligible for re-election. The candidate filing period opened Wednesday, January 14th at 8 a.m. and closes February 13th at 5 p.m. In addition to that, I would like to note that Harris County has reached out to all of the municipalities and has stated that they will not be able to contract with
So they're refusing to
municipalities
run
this
the
year.
election?
Correct. So, yes, so the city will have to conduct its
own.
independent election. So, voting for, also in your packet, I have included some options for additional election equipment for your review. It's not on the agenda, so we will
We
not.
can do that later.
we will not, we don't need action, but I wanted y'all to have that information, and if you would like, we can bring it back for action. This resolution also establishes the election times and polling locations and basically routine.
And this is housekeeping, but it's mandatory for us to
Exactly.
have to hold the election.
Correct.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any questions for Maria? Then I'd like to call for a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 2026-0209-1, a resolution of the City of Nassau Bay, Texas, ordering a general election to be held on the second day of May 2026, establishing the procedure and providing for other related matters related thereto.
Do I hear a second? Second by Ashley. Any further questions or comments? Then I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor?
Agree.
So that is 7-0. Moving on to the second agenda item for new business is consideration and possible action. The resolution number 2026-0209-2, a resolution of the City of Nassau Bay ordering a special election to be held on the second day of May 2026 for the purpose of presenting propositions to the voters pertaining to the reauthorization of the local sales and use tax at the rate of 1/4% to continue providing revenue for maintenance and repairs of our municipal streets. I'll chime in here a little bit, and then Paul, you can, this quarter-cent tax has been part of the city ordinances or the city's resolutions for 25 years or so. This money is what allows us to get an extra quarter-cent of sales revenue in order to be able to help fix our streets. It amounts to about $125,000 a year that gets augmented to our budget so that we can fix more roads. I don't know, Paul, if you wanted to add anything to that?
Yes, Mayor. After droughts, we're starting to see some failures in our streets are starting to flatten out, which is impacting our drainage.
Yeah.
So this will help out a lot. This is something that we're starting to monitor across the country, and a lot of public works are reporting that a lot of areas are flattening out. So this is going to help out.
And the other thing, too, that I want to give visibility is this is a sales tax. This is generally people who buy things in our city. It is not property tax. And if we do not reauthorize this, it's not like our streets don't need repair. It'll just have to come from a different revenue source. So you can already tell I advocate for this. It's been a long-standing revenue source to help us fix streets. Any other questions or comments?
The only thing I'm going to say is the agenda doesn't include Nassau Bay, Texas. It just says Nassau Bay. The resolution says Texas. So I just want to make sure that that's okay.
That's all right.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then I would move to approve resolution number 2026-0209-2, a resolution of the City of Nassau Bay, Texas, ordering a special election to be held on May 2nd, 2026 on the reauthorization of the city's local sales and use tax at the rate of 1/4%, 0.25%, to continue providing revenue for the maintenance and repair of municipal streets as authorized by Chapter 327 of the Texas Tax Code and resolving other matters relating to said election.
Do I hear a second?
No, that's it.
Second by Ashley. She beat you by just one hair of a second. So it's been moved by Chase, seconded by Ashley. Any further questions or comments? Then I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor?
Agree.
Passes 7-0. Thank you, Haley. Next is consideration and possible action. First and only reading of ordinance number 2026-0209-1, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Nassau Bay, Texas, amending the fiscal year 2025, so last year's.
That is correct, Mayor.
2025 budget for revenues and expenditures.
Yeah, so prior to the auditors issuing the external audit, we must approve the budget amendment. So, did you hand this out, Maria?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so this will include all the accounts that will be amended for the fiscal year 2025 budget. I'm just going to touch on the big ticket items. So we're amending the budget for the revenues and expenditures for the 2022 elevation grant and also the 2022 project scoping grant on the revenue and expenditure side. And the project scoping grant, that was for the citywide elevation study that occurred. In addition, I'll be amending the budget for the contribution for the Compass by Margarita project. And also be amending the budget for the organ donation to St. Thomas. So the reason that's getting captured in fiscal year 2025 is because the contract was executed in fiscal year 2025. So we're required to recognize it in that fiscal year versus 2024. In addition, I'm amending the budget to reverse the temporary loan that we did in fiscal year 2024 from the general fund to the special revenue fund, and also from the water sewer fund to the special revenue fund. Those were for the expenditures that had not been reimbursed by FEMA. So I'm reversing those as well. And if you have any other questions regarding the other line items that I have not mentioned, you can either
Anybody
ask
have
me
any
now or-
questions for Jaime? Then I would ask a motion.
Move to approve ordinance number 2026-02091, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Nassau Bay, Texas, amending the fiscal year 2025 budget for revenues and expenditures.
Do I hear a second? Second by Brian. Any other questions or comments? Then I call for the vote. All those in favor?
Agreed.
Passes 7-0. Then the final open session item is consideration and possible action. Consider rescheduling the March 9th, 2026 City Council regular meeting to March 16th of 2026, or an alternate date as determined by council due to CCISD spring break. Just to open it up for those who have particularly children in CCISD that would be affected by this. Any comments, any suggestions as to the best date, if not the 16th?
I won't be in town, so.
On the 16th?
No, I'm okay with moving it. I'm saying that week, that spring break week tracks our kids'
Yes, correct.
holidays
That's what I
as well.
But
My kids aren't in
I didn't know
CCSD,
if one date or a date other than the 16th, I mean, people may still be traveling on the 16th.
I'm back by then, but
What do people think?
you'd rather push it a week?
I'll be around, so I'm good with changing it.
So we good with the 16th? Then I need a motion.
I move to reschedule the March 9th, 2026 City Council regular meeting to March 16th, 2026.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Brian. Beat you. Then, any last questions or comments? Then I call for the vote. All those in favor?
Agreed.
Passes 7-0. With that, we're going to move into executive session. The city council will now hold a closed executive meeting pursuant to the provisions of chapters 551 Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in it, specifically 1, Section 551-087 Texas Government Code to deliberate regarding economic development negotiations, 2, Sections 551.074 Personnel Matters regarding the appointment, reappointment, and annual review of the city manager, and 3, Section 551.071 Texas Government Code consultation with city attorney to discuss legal matters regarding pending or contemplated litigation pertaining to Microtel. It is 8:28. We're in executive session.
coming out of executive session. Do I hear a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Seconded by Sarah. Call for vote. Passes, I believe, 6-0.